that diehard fan base and make a living in the new music industry. It's never been more relevant than right now. And as you know, like our world has changed forever. We're in the middle of this crazy epidemic going on in the world, pandemic, quarantine, all this whole situation that has changed the world. And many musicians have had their entire livelihoods just stripped away with the stroke of a pen. The stroke of a pen. Their options just completely were obliterated before their eyes. So now has never been more relevant than to learn how to do this. And as you'll understand, some of you know who I am, some of you don't. You'll learn that this is all I've been doing. I've only ever been an online musician. This is what I know through and through. I know this like the back of my hand. I've started other companies now that are very related to my music, and they're thriving during this time. I started a handmade candle company that goes with my music, actually. And that's how it all began, was I was creating a cool experience for fans to listen to my music. I wanted something a little more immersive. And so I created some candles to go along with my album launch, and that turned into its own little side business. And so I call it, it's my little fun business on the side. And guess what? In the 9 weeks we've been taking orders, we've surpassed $100,000. $100,000 in that short amount of time, because everything I'm teaching you works, and it even works in recessions. It works during economic collapse. It works it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. And I haven't had to leave my house to sell those. Sure, I'm making them, and I'm starting to, hire people to do that. But this has all happened because of the principles that I am about to teach you in this class. So it's of great value for you to be here and for you to be learning this. And this is not a bragging session for me. This is not why I'm here. But I'm always, I am my own case study. I am my own case study because nobody else showed me how to do it. I had to do it, and I had to figure it out the hard way. And so I became this case study. And so now I want to teach you. I want to help you. My goal is that you don't make these same mistakes. My goal is that you can one day create your own online businesses, so that you can do it now. And so my goal, as you'll find out, is to teach you how can you get the fastest results and do it now. How can you do it and do it quickly? And understanding that it's not an overnight process, but there's a lot you can do in a very short amount of time. So that makes me so excited to share this with you. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to dive into this. For those who don't know me, my name is Leah McHenry. And man, am I excited for what we've got planned for you. Here is my official promise to you when you are here, that by the end of this training, you will have a real working blueprint for how to strategically build a diehard fan base, how to leverage the internet in the new music industry, and how you can make a real living as a musician. And I promise if you apply what I teach you, you will see incredible results this year. I didn't say tomorrow. I'm saying this year, and very quickly. It all depends on what you do. And that's why I can make a bold promise like this. I'm going to keep it, but let's face it, I can do my end of it, but you have to do your end of it. You have to do the work on your side to make any of what I tell you today happen, and to make it work, and make it work over and over again. So here is the class instructions. This is so that you get the most out of your time today. I'm going to ask that you just don't do any multitasking, silence your phone, close the door, close all the other tabs. If you're on desktop, just close those tabs. Try to focus, get your pen and paper handy, and prepare to take a lot of notes. It's actually going to help your brain retain a lot more information if you are writing something, if you have a pen in your hand. I purposely, when I read books, I feel very ADD and distracted. And so what helps me is to hold a highlighter in my hand as I read. So my brain is focused and zeroing in on relevant information that can help me in those gems. And so if that helps you, you might want to do the same thing. So let's talk about how you know if you're in the right place, if this is the class and the workshop for you to be at. So if, for example, you want to pursue your music career, but you don't know where to begin, or you're not sure how to make your music stand out, or you know you're supposed to utilize social media, but you don't have an exact strategy, or you've thought about recording an album for a long time, but you're not sure how to plan and organize the whole thing, or you want to build a quality fan base and you're not sure how. You find this changing music industry overwhelming and you want to know how you can change with the times so you can succeed. Or you're serious about pursuing the music, but you aren't able to tour right now. That's every musician at the moment. You want to learn how to make a living from your music in the new music industry. If you relate to one or two of those, you are in the right place. Now, here's what you're going to learn from me today. You're going to learn what I did wrong, the right recipe for success, the 4 biggest myths that could keep you from huge success. They're probably keeping you now. And 5 ways to passive income with your music. Listen, there's a whole lot of things I could teach you, but I only teach you the things that I am passionate about and the things that have affected my bank account, things that have affected my family and have actually changed my life. There's a lot of things that we could talk about, but that's my ethic for teaching, okay? I only teach what has affected my bank account and that I can confidently speak from. And I also have a gift for you just for staying with me till the end, guys, and it's a valuable gift, so please do stay to the end. Here's a little bit about me. This is just my 1-minute bio. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 5 kids. We have been a homeschool family since day one. I've been a musician all my life, but I didn't get serious about that. I didn't release my first album until after we started a family. I was already very busy. So this was back in 2012 when I released my first album. And here's what you need to understand. The success I've had is not because I'm so special. I am not the best songwriter in the world. I don't look like a model. I'm not skinny. I could give you a plethora of reasons why I would consider myself like not the best in the world. I think I'm kind of average, but I work very hard. And also, here's the big difference. I learned and I applied some very new cutting edge strategies. In short, I got really good at marketing my own music. I got really good at it, and you can get really good at it. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to market everybody else, but you just have to know how to market yourself and market your music. That's the good news. And so this is why it makes it so exciting. And so that's the reason I'm giving this live workshop today, is because when someone like me started getting some big results and started making a real living wage with my music, I was like, wow. Like when this started happening, I realized if I could do this, then every musician in the world can do this. And I'm talking when I started like paying bills and I started paying for groceries and being able to fund my own projects and actually having a stable, sustainable income from my music. That's what I'm talking about. Here's the thing is that I noticed how other talented musicians were struggling and failing, even though they had great music. Some of them are way more talented than me. So I was like, that doesn't make any sense in my head. How is it that they're not making it and I am? How come they're not profitable and they have side jobs and they still live with their parents and this, that, and this and that, and I'm succeeding? And then I realized, well, I must be doing something that they aren't. I'm doing something that they aren't. And that's the crazy thing, because I'm the stay-at-home mom. I'm the one that should have all the excuses, right? I'm the one that should say, well, I have 5 kids and I don't have time and this and that. And so that's when I really got fired up. And I realized I need to share this knowledge. In fact, I think it would be a crime if I didn't. And that's when Savvy Musician Academy was born. And that's turned into a whole completely different business. So the things I share with you today, I'm sharing with you strictly my music business. So when I share with you the stats that I've earned from my money, that's not from Savvy Musician Academy. That's from my music career. It's always separate. We completely separate those businesses, separate bank accounts, separate everything. Okay. So here's the thing. This is a cool thought to me, is that there's going to be a few select people who are listening today that are going to take what I teach you and you are going to run with it. You're going to go beyond me and become far more successful than me. And that actually excites me so much. because I'm very ambitious. I've got other things going other than my music career. I'm a businesswoman. I have a lot of ambitions in life. So for those who are even more dedicated and don't have 5 kids, there's nothing stopping you. And I get so fired up about that. So just think to yourself, if a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids can get hundreds of thousands of followers between Facebook and Instagram, millions of views on YouTube, tens of thousands of email subscribers, make $500,000 in music sales in the last couple of years, and doing that part-time, that's not my full-time job. I do it on the side. Yeah. Is there an excuse that you can't do this? Here's a typical day on my shop. Now this goes up and down, of course. It's normal. Here is an example of a month of music sales. That was not crowdfunding. That was an actual month of sales, music and merchandise on my shop. You can see it was kind of steady throughout the month. And if I can do things like crowdfunding campaigns, this was my first crowdfunding campaign, $27,000, $78,000. And actually it was almost $90,000 between that and my shop for that campaign. And then my last crowdfunding campaign was another $83,000 of $50,000 we were trying to raise, $83,000 for a Christmas album, like an 8-song Christmas EP. Yeah, and if I can release those 5 albums during nap time and weekends, I work very hard at it, but it wasn't all I was doing. I have other things going. If I've been able to do that part-time, then yeah, I am positively, absolutely, without a doubt, sure that anyone can do this. You can do this. I really won't take any excuses. There's no reason why you can't. And I will preface that with, if you have good music and you have any kind of work ethic. So that's why I'm giving this seminar. I figured out how to make a music career succeed, even as a busy mother of 5. I figured out how to make it happen when I'm being pulled in 1,000 directions and still have success. So in order to do that, let's talk about what I did wrong first, because I need to be humble with you. I need to be transparent with you, and perhaps you will relate to one of these things. When I first decided to launch my very first album, I was already married, had a few little kids at home. I had no fan base, zero knowledge of the music industry. I've never read those business books, those music business books ever. And I had no business sense. I still don't. Like I said, I have not read Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business or all those recommended reading. I have never read those. I was 100% unknown. I had no fans and no sales at all. So basically my parents were my only fans. I also had the belief that I would need a record deal to truly experience success. So I decided I'd release an album and hope to get discovered through those artist profile sites like YouTube and music licensing websites. And artist profile sites are like Reverb Nation and SoundCloud and all those. I thought, oh yeah, if I just put my music there, then surely someone will stumble across my music and discover me. And that did not happen. How many of you have also believed this, that if you put your music out there, that somebody would find it? Or if you uploaded your music to one of those licensing catalog websites, that somebody would just one day select your song and put it on the next blockbuster movie soundtrack? How many of you have believed that? It's just very common. So let me talk to you about some of the problems I encountered early on and areas where I kind of failed and the things I learned through that. So problem number 1 was that I was winging it. I had no plan. I was going off of nothing. And I thought that, like I said, just putting it out there, it would work. And the reading I did do off of Google, just articles and whatever, it was all common sense stuff. And nothing actually told me, how do I make money with my music online? Somebody please teach me what I need to know. I could not find it. It didn't exist. It still is very difficult to find something that just tell me how to do it. A lot of it's BS. A lot of it is like not directly telling you how to do it. So I ended up throwing my music out to the world and hoping something would happen. It was like that line from Field of Dreams, that movie with Kevin Costner, where if you build it, they will come. And that was my philosophy, that if I built it, if I just put my music there, I would get fans or I'd get discovered. And so this was my downfall, is I did not have a blueprint. I didn't have anything that would generate traffic or create a buzz or make proper album sales. And I didn't have anything to go off of. Problem number 2 was I couldn't tour. Now, a lot of you find yourself in this situation right now where you can't tour, even if you wanted to. Some of you don't tour yet because you're very early on in your music career, but some of you have been touring musicians and gigging for years, and suddenly that stream of income has been stripped away. It's a good thing. Let me tell you why this is good. It's good for all of you because it reveals your vulnerability. It tells you where the hole in the bucket is. Okay? If something like that can be taken away from you so fast and literally ruin your economy, your own personal economy in your household, that tells you what you need to do. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We'll circle back to it. But this reveals your weakness. It reveals your vulnerability. Now, my vulnerability at the time was I couldn't tour from the beginning because I was mothering little babies, lots of them at home. And I was pregnant and nursing and raising kids. Okay, so not practical for me to go on tour. And the shows that I did do, I realized how much time and energy and money went into rehearsing, organizing, playing just even one show. It's a lot of work. And it's like, well, with that amount of effort, if you're going to play one, you might as well play 30 because of how much effort goes into it just to get one off the ground. So we're going to circle back to that as well about the touring thing. So problem number 3 was no time. And this genuinely this is always an ongoing issue for me, is that my life is very full. It's not that there's no time, because you make time for the things that matter to you, but I was just genuinely tired because raising 5 kids, homeschooling, a lot of things going on in my life. And so because of that, I did become quite discouraged, and I thought that my music would become a hobby and nothing more. And that, when record labels found out about me, a lot of them said, some of them approached me, and then when they found out I couldn't tour, they were like, well, we're not going to work with you if you're not going to tour. So that was really discouraging. And so I kind of settled. I thought, like, well, I guess I'm just going to be a basement musician. But a part of me could not give up. I just couldn't accept that music would only be a hobby in my spare time. I just knew I could do better. I didn't want to live with regret. And so even though I had no blueprint and I did everything wrong and backwards and I didn't have time and I couldn't tour, I basically decided I'm going to do this. And I became obsessed. And I mean, I started researching like crazy. But what I didn't do was I didn't continue studying the music industry. I actually stopped studying the music industry, and I became obsessed with learning online marketing. And so I started studying things that other businesses and other industries were doing. And that's when I had a light bulb moment as I was studying and learning about other industries of people who were thriving in this online economy. Who cares about Napster? Who cares about this? Like, these other economies, these other industries were doing amazing, making millions and millions and millions of dollars online. So I was like, maybe I should study them because they're having a great time right now with the internet. And a lot of them are e-commerce businesses. So selling physical products online. Well, I'm selling physical music. I'm selling physical products. Maybe I should study that. And so when I had that light bulb moment after studying, here's what I came up with. And I now call it the cake scenario. When you go to bake a cake, it takes planning, it takes steps, and it takes the right ingredients. And like baking a cake, there's some key ingredients you need to add. You need to add them in the right order, or it's going to be a flop. You need the right temperature. You need special tools. You need all your ingredients ahead of time. You don't want to get into the middle of a recipe and find out you don't have eggs in the fridge. That's annoying. And you got to know how to put it all together properly for a good result. And when you wing a recipe, you are also taking a risk that A, it won't work out, or if it does work out, you won't be able to repeat it. So if you have some stroke of luck in the music industry, you're not able to repeat that process because you have no idea what you did. You just threw ingredients in a bowl and somehow it turned out okay. That doesn't work. So the same is with your music. You need the right recipe. You need to know the order in which to do those things, and you need to know how to execute those in a master plan. There's those few random flukes out there, right? The Justin Biebers who didn't do anything. They put a YouTube video up and get discovered. But that's not how it's going to be for 99% of us. So it turns out, after doing all this studying and all this research, that there is actually a method to the madness. And let me tell you, once I hit that nail on the head, boy, oh boy, did I crush it. My social media followers skyrocketed. My fan base literally exploded. Hence the name of this, Explode Your Fan Base. And in the first 2 years after implementing some of these things, my income increased by over 1,700%. It's not an exaggeration. You know, at this point, I could call myself, I'm a professional recording artist, because by my own definition of success, hey, if I was helping pay the rent, if I was buying gifts for family, if I could buy all the gear I needed, my dream harp, the Celtic harp I'd wanted for years, if I could fund all my own projects, that to me was success. Like, I am living off of my music now. So that's a real income from my passion. And that was a life-changing event. Life-changing. And I will never get tired of talking about that, because it is so exciting when this happens. So what's the system? What have I been doing that changed it all? In order to properly teach you what I did, we've got to get some of these myths out of the way, because you really need to understand the bigger picture for musicians. Myth number 1 is that you need a label. This is false. It was not always like that, though. This is a little bit more recent history. This is the first time in the history of the modern music industry that you do not need a label to be a successful musician, make money, or get exposure. Now, there are some pros and cons about that. And I like to be fair when we discuss these things. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but let's just talk about real fast the pros to going about it the label route. One pro is that the labels, the big ones, already have the funds to invest in your band. So it's called capital. They have the money available to invest. Now, this is quickly becoming not the case. Now, these days, a lot of these big labels are now dissolved. Other bigger companies have bought them up. The smaller labels don't have a lot of money, don't have a lot of capital. And they may even require that you crowdfund your next CD, which means you already need to be a developed artist. You already need a fan base that you can launch a crowdfunding campaign to. Crowdfunding does not work without an audience. I've done many crowdfunding campaigns. You need to have an audience there. So if that's the case, in many, many cases, how are you going to get that audience? How are you going to develop yourself to even make that happen? Another pro is that they do have contacts. They've got exposure. They can get you into all the festivals. They know everybody. Another pro is that they can get you a lot of exposure. But just keep in mind, because you're on a roster with other popular bands, just because you get exposure and you're casting a very wide net, it doesn't matter if it's not the specific audience, if those people are not fans of your music. So even though you can reach more people, it might be more people that don't even care about your music. And I heard many, many stories from my students of being dropped when they thought they were going to be so huge, and then it turns out that it was not very successful. The cons to having a label. The money these labels invest in you is actually a loan that you have to pay back. Many musicians don't understand that. They think it's free money. It's never free money, by the way. Free money is not a thing. Anytime someone gives you something, believe me, it's coming somewhere else. You're being taxed, or like I said, this is a loan cloaked in a pretty bow called a contract. You have to pay all of it back. You could also lose your artistic freedom. They decide they don't like the direction you're going in. Happens all the time. Another big one I've heard from many students of mine is that after they've been signed to major record labels, is that they didn't deliver on their promises. Contract or no contract, they didn't deliver on them. So it was a huge disappointment. And all the band members are still broke, and they still had to have side jobs. And that brings me to the last con, is you're not going to make much money. These labels, I don't care if it's a small contract or a big one, I've had contracts sitting on my desk. They're horrible. They're horrible. You're not going to make much money. They take such a huge cut. And a lot of them are, quite frankly, in the dinosaur age of marketing. They have no idea what they're doing. Some of them, I visit their websites, I see what they're doing, I see their Facebook ads, and it's atrocious. Some of them don't even run Facebook ads. Some of them have no idea what they're doing. And I've had conversations with them about it, and they didn't like what I had to say. So this is not, let me just leave with this. There's nothing that they can do for you that you can't do for yourself times 10. It all comes down to how smart of a marketer you become in marketing your own music. They will never know your fans like you know your fans. They will never know your music like you know your music. They're not that motivated, to be honest. They want to make money, but they're not that motivated to intricately understand your audience in the way that I'm going to ask you to understand your audience. Okay, they don't care. So now let's talk about the next myth, which is that a lot of people believe that you can't make any money as an independent artist. And they think that that's because of file sharing. They think that you can get it for free on streaming sites. So why would people pay for it? They think you need to be on mainstream radio, which is honestly not even on my radar whatsoever. And keep in mind, I'm a multi-six-figure artist, like annually. Mainstream radio is not on my radar. I care much more about Spotify playlists. I care much more about direct-to-consumer sales. Radio is irrelevant, quite frankly. File sharing, don't worry about that. Studies show that people who share files are more likely to buy, and besides, you can't control it, so don't put your energy there. Get people who think they can get for free on streaming sites, why would they buy it? Music, well, because those true fans want to support you. True fans want a close-up, hands-on experience, which we will talk about in a minute. And you don't need millions of fans to make this possible. We're going to circle back to that as well. The next myth is that you have to tour. Now, I understand this, and at the moment, this is not even possible, but I understand. Part of being a musician is playing live. I get that. That's a big, big part of it. It's like, hey, for some people who are not recording artists, like that's how they make all their income. I've chosen a different way for my career because I have the kiddos at home and I'm homeschooling. Being a recording artist is what works for my lifestyle. But let me just help you understand that you don't have to tour to make money. You don't have to tour to get exposure. You don't have to tour to meet amazing fans and make great connections. Those things happen, of course, but you don't have to do that to make money. I really am going to hammer this in. And I want to talk to you a little bit more the finances of touring and why, when things are opened up and everybody can tour again. Let's talk about the reality of the expenses of this. And so this was an article that I found on Digital Music News. It was actually written by the co-founder of Patreon, Jack Conte. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. So he revealed all his finances this one year of their tour. It was a very successful tour. And a lot of other bands have done the same thing. They've shared a lot of information and just been very transparent about it. And I appreciated it so much. So in a nutshell, their tour ended up costing them $147,000, almost $150,000 to produce and execute. And then he broke down all the places it was coming from, which was really helpful to see. And then their income at the end of it was $97,519. And at the end, you can see they actually lost almost $12,000. So they're in the hole. And this is with a very successful tour, with a mid-sized band, sold out shows, blah, blah, blah. Like lots of great stuff happened for them. But I love this part at the end of his article that he shares. Okay. And so pay attention to this. He said, at the end of the day, our band is just fine. Pamplemousse, the name. Our patrons give us $6,300 per video through our Patreon page. We sell about $5,000 of music per month through iTunes and Louder. And after all of our expenses, we each draw a salary of about $2,500 per month from Pamplemousse. What's left, we reinvest in the band or save so we don't have to rack up another $24,000 of credit card debt to book another tour. The point of publishing all these scary stats is not to dissuade people from being professional musicians. It's simply an attempt to shine light on a new paradigm for professional artistry. We're entering a new era of history. The space between starving artists and rich and famous is beginning to collapse. YouTube signed up 1 million partners. The creative class is no longer emerging. It's here and now. We, the creative class, are finding ways, making a living. We're making music, drawing webcomics, writing articles, coding games, recording podcasts. Most people don't know our names or faces. We're not on magazine covers at the grocery store. We're not rich, and we are not famous. We are the mom and pop corner store version of the dream. So Lady Gaga is McDonald's, big corporation. We're Betty's Diner, and we're open 24/7. We have not made it. We're making it. And I really love his perspective here. And take note of this, is that in the end, touring made no money for them. They were in the hole. But selling music online continues to bring them in income every month and even funds the tour, right? So after they draw their salary, they put the rest, they save it so they can fund their tour in the future so they don't have to rack up credit card debt. So it's funding the thing they want to do with their music career, but that touring is not how they're making money. And so this is for a mid-sized band. They're not a huge, world famous. They're not a household name, but they're selling out shows. So they're doing well. Keep that in mind when you think about touring. And for some people, it's just not an option. The next myth is that all you need is good music. Okay. Now, you need good music. Let's just get that out of the way. You need good music. It's the absolute foundation of why we're here. No one's going to get anywhere with bad music or mediocre music. It's got to be good. It has to stand out. And I'm going to add with that, good music plus work ethic. Good music plus work ethic. If you have good music but no work ethic, well, good luck to you. If you have good work ethic but mediocre music, again, that's not going to turn out the way you're hoping. But I'm addressing the mindset most of all, is that all you need is good music. Because here's a copy and paste from a Facebook comment that someone said to me. They said, Leah, you're wrong. You can't make money online. Here's how it is. You have to eat, sleep, and breathe your music 24/7, play anywhere and everywhere, 7 days a week. Do this for 5 to 10 years, and then you might get noticed. And any other way is BS. And they gave a few more choice words. So this is the general headspace of the old school way of thinking. And I told him, dude, hey, I feel you. That's the way it used to be. I get it. But that's the old school way of thinking. You're in the old school music industry, and I understand, but if you continue thinking that way, you will suffer as a musician. You're not going to get ahead. You're going to struggle from now into eternity. Okay. We are now in the new music industry. This means new opportunity like never before. This is an exciting time that we live in now for musicians everywhere, old and young. There's a market for everything. I don't care what kind of music you play. I don't care what kind of bizarre, niche, weird combination of music you made. I did the same thing with mine. Someone somewhere in this world is searching for the most obscure music that you have, and they're dying to come across what you just created, but they don't know you exist. And that's a marketing problem. That's a marketing problem. So listen, if you do things right, you can seize an incredible opportunity to connect with the right fans who are already looking for your music. This is exciting. And so now we're going to talk about the 5 ways you can monetize your music and make a real living with your music. Now's a good time to get a pen if you don't have one yet. So what is passive income? Passive, this is my definition, okay? You first do the work, put it on autopilot, and it continues to bring in income for you every week and every month, every year. Now, there are certain forms of income that are less passive than others, but this is the goal, right? Is that we can delegate and we can leverage our time. That's the goal. Because if we can leverage our time, we can do more things. We can be more productive. Now, there's at least 5 ways. I'm teaching 5 today. There's many more than that. But again, I'm only focusing on the things that have been directly relevant to myself when I was in a pickle and I was like, my family's on the edge of bankruptcy and I need to make money. And the only thing I have is my music. I'd been a stay-at-home mom for years. I'm not even employable. We need to figure out something fast. What can I do? And so these are the things I did. And these are the things I did to hit 6 figures very quickly. So pay attention. Now, rule number 1 is don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's not smart. No investor, no business investor will ever tell you to put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just invest in Bitcoin, Don't just invest in gold or precious metals. Diversify. You need to diversify your streams of income. So otherwise, you could really be putting yourself in a bind. So if you're only, for those musicians right now, who their only source of income was live shows, they just found that out. They just learned a very hard lesson that they put all their eggs in one basket and they are SOL. So here's the rule. Put many eggs in lots of baskets. Lots of eggs, lots of baskets. Different streams of income, okay? So here's number one. Number one way to monetize your music: sell physical merchandise. I can't even stress how much I mean this because, well, this is a big chunk of how I make my money, but you're going to learn that this is one of the most lucrative things you could do. And this is absolutely one of those things I put into place when I needed to make money right now. Fans, if they like your music, because we're going to talk about this, what makes people buy merchandise? Because that's the question I had to ask because I couldn't tour, right? Most artists have a merch booth. Well, I didn't have a merch booth because I'm not a touring artist. So I had to approach this from an e-commerce point of view. Why would somebody buy my t-shirt for $20 or $25 when they could just go to Target and buy a white t-shirt for $7? Why would they do that? And how can I make them do that? That's the question to ask. And when you start asking those psychological driven or psychology driven questions, you can become very wealthy because now you're tapping into human behavior. And why do people do things the way they do? When you start asking those questions, you are on the right track. Now, why do people do this? Very short word, write this down. It's that they are a super fan. Super fan. Maybe you've heard that word before. A lot of people use that word, but I'm going to define it. What does super fan mean? Well, this is my definition. You can create your own if you want, but here's what I say. A super fan is someone who puts their money where their mouth is. They love your music so much, and they want to support you by having a close-up, hands-on experience. And they also tell all their friends, all their networks about you, and they're very excited and even bummed out that they didn't find your music sooner. Some of them will even email you and be like, I can't believe I've never heard about your music. I'm so upset that I never heard about this before. I've had many of those messages. Really funny when you get them. And it's very exciting to know when you've hit the nail on the head with your audience when you get those kind of messages. So in other words, why do people buy merchandise? They've got to be crazy in love with your music. That's a super fan. They're really in love with your music. They love everything you do. A lot of them will buy your entire discography all at once when they discover it. In order for that to happen, they must also be what I call super targeted fans in your micro niche. Okay, write that down too. So you've got super fan and micro niche. So what is a micro niche? Many of you know my teachings and you'll know what a micro niche is. For those who don't know, I talk about this all the time. A micro niche is a specific tiny genre within a much bigger genre. So how do you know what it is? How do you find those fans? Well, we're going to circle back to that as well because I want to keep moving here, but I'm going to show you how to do this. And really quickly, just so you understand for what it is for me, my umbrella genre, so this is like the big overarching genre would be metal, okay, for what I do. And then the subgenre, so there's subgenres below the big genre. I think everybody understands that. Subgenre would be symphonic metal for me. And then my niche is all the way down to Celtic fantasy metal. Like it's very specific under those other umbrellas, okay? And you're going to find out yours, and I've got something for you at the end of this class to help you with that. Second way to monetize your music is digital sales and products. So I make another big chunk of my income from this method alone. So this includes iTunes, stuff off your website, YouTube, streaming, any other digital music related product. So here I have a brainstorming idea for you right now. Because you're not limited to just digital music. Anything that you can create related to your music that people can download and get from you exclusively is an opportunity for sales. So I'm going to have you brainstorm right now. Like, here's some examples of things you could sell right now. Like if your life depended on it and, you know, your child or a relative needed a very expensive medical procedure tomorrow or they were going to die, and you had to come up with a way to make some money right this second, this is what you would come up with. So could you sell sheet music? Could you sell loops? Could you sell voiceovers? Could you do software tutorials? I want you to write in the chat for me at least one idea that you can come up with that's related to your music that you could sell right now. I'm going to watch for those answers in a second. I'll read out a couple of them. Okay, I see scores, sheet music, tutorials, meditations, voiceovers, voice tags, loop kits or MIDI files, acoustic versions, digital wallpapers, songs on iTunes and Amazon, backstory to the song, tutorials on how to distribute music, tabs, more loops, lyrics and poems, handwritten lyrics, more meditations. Man, there's a lot of fantastic ideas. I just wanted to make sure you guys had the right idea. You absolutely do. You absolutely do. I've even heard of people selling like birthday jingles or like leaving voicemail for people with birthdays, or sending like a birthday message over Zoom, those kind of things. Like you can, I mean, there's so much you could do if you are creative. And so I'm seeing here, what I see here in the chat tells me that you know exactly what to do. Okay, so let's continue. You've definitely got the right idea. The third way to monetize your music is publishing and royalties, publishing royalties. Now, this is not my area of expertise. What I do know is that there's a lot of technical stuff around this. There's like the mechanical royalties and these kind of royalties and those kind of royalties. What you definitely want to make sure is that you have covered your bases and that you're registered with a PRO, a performance rights organization. Now, I don't make as much money here because I am not a performing artist. So it doesn't, of course, it makes sense that I'm not making as much. But for those who are, and just this, you just definitely want to be registered. Even though I'm not a performing artist, I make sure all my catalog is registered because you never know when something could get picked up. They collect royalties from all different places. There's ASCAP, CSAC, BMI in the States. SOCAN is in Canada, so that's where I'm registered. I also recommend you check out Sound Exchange because they're an independent organization. You can actually be registered with a regular PRO and Sound Exchange, and that's the only one where you can do that. Otherwise, you can only be registered with one. So anyway, just make sure that you have your catalog there because all other streaming and digital publishing royalties, those can be collected on your behalf through a distribution company like CD Baby or TuneCore or whatever. I personally use TuneCore because I like that they just charge me on the front end and they don't charge on the back end. But hey, it's, you know what, they're all good. Do your research. It doesn't matter. Just pick one and use it. Fourth way to monetize your music is through your knowledge and experience. Now, do not dismiss this option, your knowledge and experience. Right now, we're living in a time where there's a historical amount of unemployment. There will be more entrepreneurs created during this year than maybe any other time in history. You know, it's an unbelievable amount of people that are having to find their way right now. This could be a lifesaver for you. And in fact, I was walking the talk when I started Savvy Musician Academy. You know what's crazy about that is it started out as a little ebook where I thought I would share my knowledge with just, you know, some family and friends and a few other moms who were musicians and were wondering how I was getting success and paying the bills and diapers and stuff with my music. Guess what? That turned into Savvy Musician Academy. That became a 7-figure business. Can you believe that? I mean, it exploded and I never expected that to happen. I mean, that was not in my mind. That was not what I was even going for. I was just trying to sell a little ebook to, like, you know, as like an extra little thing as part of what I was doing with my music. And so do not underestimate what you have sitting inside you. And I can promise you, I did not feel like an expert at the time. I just knew, hey, I'm a couple of steps ahead of somebody else. I'm a couple of steps ahead and I can help a few people. If I can help a few people, maybe I can help a few more. And so, hey, there's a number of things you could do. So if you've been playing guitar for years, if you could teach someone with a little bit less experience than you can do it on Skype, you can do it in person, you could do a variety of ways, Zoom. So here's what I'm asking you right now. What knowledge or skill have you acquired that you could help someone else with? Could it be lyrics? Could it be piano? Could you create a course on writing lyrics or songwriting or tutorials on how to set up your home studio? Like I was saying the other day, I would pay someone to help me come and set up my home studio because I am not a gear person and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what cords do what. I don't know anything about gear. Somebody please help me. I will pay you to help set up my home studio. This is the thing. Please type me in the chat what knowledge or skill you have acquired that you could possibly help someone else with. Let me give you permission right now as well. Let me give you permission. You don't have to be the world's best expert on this. You just have to be a few steps ahead. And if no one's ever given you permission, if you are one of those people that will stop yourself because you don't feel good enough, trust me, I didn't feel good enough when I started Savvy Musician Academy, and it's just grown. We have tens of thousands of students across the world who are seeing incredible success with our programs. And if I had let that stop me, that wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be helping that many people. So it's wild what will happen if you don't limit yourself. So I'm seeing someone saying harp playing, songwriting for seniors, gear reviews, lyrics. I'm seeing the anatomy of a song, songwriting and structure, composition, creating historical content. That's cool. Audio engineering, absolutely. Teaching Adobe Audition or GarageBand. This is the way you are thinking correctly, because it's just like that Jack Conte said from Patreon when we read that article, that we're doing more things than just playing music. We're doing a lot of other things too that are creative, but they're drawing upon our skill set. It's challenging us to become more than just a musician. We're also becoming little entrepreneurs, like little micro entrepreneurs in many ways. So you are absolutely on track. You guys are on fire with coming up with these amazing ideas. And don't worry about market saturation. You're like, oh, there's so many other people who teach this. That's okay. There's only one you. There's only one me. You know how many people right now in this current moment are claiming to help other musicians with their music business? There are so many. And there's some good ones too, by the way. But there's only one me. And if you connect with me, that's all that matters, right? You have to learn from the people you connect with. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to, for example, health, I have many, many, many books on my bookshelf about health. I have many books on my bookshelf about business. I don't learn from only one person. I learn from many people. And many, many different places inspire and help me. So don't worry about market saturation. There's one you, and somebody will prefer you over a different teacher because they like the way you do it. So that's an important thing to remember. Now, the fifth way to monetize music, and I get really excited about this one because it's what freed my family from the possibility of financial ruin, essentially, and bankruptcy. I launched a virtual fan club, and I'll tell you about that. Because everything's going digital and things are getting cheaper, it means we've got to get creative as to how we create a very cool experience for our top fans. And so there's a whole bunch of different platforms you can use: Patreon, Bandcamp, private Facebook groups. Of course, you can get a custom website made, but that's very expensive and I don't recommend it. But private Facebook groups, by the way, might be getting better all the time. I know a paid option is coming very soon. So you can charge money for a paid Facebook group. So that might even be a great option. People are already there. There's already 2.5 billion monthly active users on that platform. So do not discount it. Even if you think it's only for old people, you're wrong. That could be a very good option. So a virtual fan club is an incredible opportunity. And like I said, when my family was in dire straits and I had to figure out what am I going to do, because I am not going to let us go bankrupt. So this is what I launched. I launched a virtual fan club. I sent an email to a very small group of fans and I said, do you want a fan club? And they said, yes. And I said, okay, what do you want me to offer? And how much will you pay for it? In a very nice way, I asked that. And they told me, and then I offered it and they bought it. And it's a very simple thing. Write this down. Why guess when you can ask? You don't need to guess. You don't have to wonder what your fans want from you. You just have to ask them and give it to them. Then it makes your life very easy and you'll make much more money. Okay, so here's just a few things that you could offer. Go ahead and screenshot this or write them down. These are things that I offered. You can offer your entire music catalog in a virtual fan club. Like when they join, they get this kind of thing. Chances to interact with you, maybe on a monthly call or a Zoom meeting or something. Giveaways, exclusive merchandise, discounts, backstage passes, all kinds of different ideas. Write for me in the chat if you are getting something out of this right now. Right? Yes, if your wheels are turning. Yes. Okay, I've seen the yeses pour in. Okay, good. So you're getting something out of this and your wheels are turning. Fantastic. That's what I want, because unless your wheels are turning, you're not going to go and do anything with, this class is kind of useless if it doesn't get your wheels turning. All right. So here are the 5 ways to passive income in a nutshell. Sell physical merchandise, sell it like crazy. Digital music and products. So you're not just limited to music. You can sell any kind of product and you can sell it right now. Get all your catalogs published with PROs, cover your bases there. Your knowledge and experience, start teaching lessons, start helping other people, and launch a virtual fan club. Okay, this was the pathway to 6 figures in a year very quickly. I did it in less than a year when I did these 5 things. So this is very possible and very doable. Okay, you have to understand that when you put these things into play, it's not that difficult. Now, with all these eggs in all these different baskets, that's going to equal a lot more income for you. And so more fans is more money. But again, they can't just be regular fans. We're going for quality, die-hard fans. And we always want to go for quality over quantity. And just as a reminder, remember, I raised my first crowdfunding campaign $27,000 from only 657 people. Okay, that's a lot of money from not that many people. So how many super fans do you actually need to make this all happen? You can throw out a number. It's going to be very personalized to what your goals are. But I personally love very simple math. I am not a complex algebra type of gal. So for a lot of people, they want that 6-figure mark. So here's just a very, very kindergarten version of math. 1,000 fans times $100 per year. If the 1,000 fans spend $100 a year, that's $100,000. You could cut that in half. What if only 500 fans spent $100 a year? That'd also be $100,000. Between those 5 streams of income we talked about, you can see how that's not that difficult, right? Between the merchandise and the digital sales and the royalties and the fan club and all that, between all of those things, this is not that difficult to do. I hope you're getting excited right about now, because you should be. Now is the time to become a music entrepreneur. You don't need millions of fans. You don't need radio. You don't need a label. You don't need that. You just need to launch those 5 things. And that's your path. So I want to continue to be humble with you and share with you, when I first got started after 2012, this was all I made in my digital royalties. This was my TuneCore. Okay, this is my TuneCore account. $1,600. Hey, I was happy to make something. That's better than nothing, but you can't live off of that. And then a few years later, this translated into $32,000. And then again, 1 stream of income out of 5 or more streams of income. This was actually completely passive. So I didn't have to do anything for this. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to play live. I could just sleep and go on with my life essentially. And this was happening. So that is a really big difference. And just as an example, one of the TuneCore statements, 4,500 again, and that's not including like my shop sales, which I shared with you at the beginning. I'm having $20,000 months and stuff. Now, like I said, hey, music business, it goes up and down all the time, totally normal. That's why you have more than 1 stream of income. And so you're here because you want to be successful. You want your music to stand out. You want quality fans. You want to build a buzz. You want to make money doing what you love. And you're serious about pursuing your dream. Now, even if you only got a fraction of the results I've showed you today, how would that change your life? The year that I made the 32K just from the online royalties, on average, that's somewhere around $2,700 a month. Like that's all I made. Like if I didn't sell physical merchandise, if I wasn't doing all the other things, like if you only made 2,500 or even got a fraction of that, how would that change your life? What if it was only starting out as like $5,000 or $1,000 a month? What would that be like to finally have fans around the world who love your music and they give you the recognition that it deserves? And in the process, you're meeting great people, all kinds of opportunities open up. Just a fraction of the success can change your life. So what would happen if you were empowered with the skill set to make that $200 to $500 a month for music, even just if that was starting out? If you could gain another 10,000 likes on Facebook, if you could add another 500 people to your email list that actually convert into sales and you know how to do it. If you could crowdfund your next project, you're not worried that's going to be a flop. I want to introduce you to a few of my students who are doing that exact thing. Scott said, I had no idea that people could ever hear my music. This takes you step by step through the process of building a fan base, getting your music out there, and doing it right. I know of nowhere else you could receive this much information in such a concise manner. It's worth 10 times the price. And Ty, one of my favorite students, man, he's so great. He said, I'm about to drop my second record. This is with my first album. I was able to make significant vinyl and CD sales, work my way to 10,000 likes and 2,000 emails on my list. Tom, the online musician, was the catalyst for all of it. We'll see how I do an album too. It's so cool because since then I've seen him release multiple albums and they're hugely successful. It's so cool to watch that. Karen said, do the online musician course, Tom. I did. I've spent 12 months implementing and making it fit and work for me and my music. And I've gone from 300 likes up to 3,000 and rising. And I'm now building an email list. This is very exciting, especially for people who are starting from scratch and zero, exactly where I was. No fans, no fan base. And they had like nothing. And to see them grow that fast and just continue and actually make progress is very exciting. Letitia said, I finally have a clue as to how to be a successful independent musician, actually make money from it. I've always worked so hard on the creative side and then I fell down on the business and marketing side. Leah's filled in the blanks for me and given me info that not even a $12,000 vocal course has given me. So thanks again, Leah. Marissa said, when I started the course, I hadn't made any income online and had around 80 followers. Leah helped me get creative on ways I can share my music with the world. I now make an income with my royalty-free background music, an avenue I'd never considered going down before. And build my audience with regular live online shows. Now, interesting, because this is from before, but guess what? Look what you could be doing right now. You could be making money and building your audience regularly with live online shows. You can do this now. Peter said, I watched Leah's course for about 6 months before deciding to commit. An ex-fraud investigator doesn't lose their skepticism. That's hilarious, and I love it. He said, I haven't looked back. We've gone from 1,200 followers to 17,000 in 7 months and now regularly sell CDs and downloads online. We haven't even scratched the surface of this course. In fact, only implemented 4 or 5 key things that have made a massive impact. We've gained amazing, enthusiastic following who are keen to support us. That said, Leah taught us that there are fans for our music all over the world. We just had to find them and let them know who and where we are and what we're all about. I've been booking shows in Europe based upon people that followed me on my page, and I'll be headlining a country music festival in France for which they're paying me very well. So although I've not yet achieved all I want through Tom, I've achieved things that I had no idea were even possible. Going to France? Yeah, I never pictured that happening. Doing shows in Spain? Same thing. The results that come from Tom may not always be what we're expecting, but be open to receiving career advancement in ways that you least expect. Give it time and do the steps. Do the work, and things will happen. Adam said, as a student of the program, I can honestly say Leah knows her stuff. My project is new and growing more quickly and efficiently because of what I learned from the course. Money well spent. Now, you're here because you want to learn how to launch your music career correctly online so you can one day live off of it. You want to create a music business that grows every single month. You want to create 100% freedom to create what you want, when you want, and you have a music career of your dreams without worrying about touring endlessly or finding a label. And I think I can teach you how to do this. If you'd like to hear about the brand new Online Musician 3.0 program, type yes in the chat if you want to hear about it, and I will wait for your response. Awesome. Well, the Online Musician 3.0 is a comprehensive action plan and strategy system to build a solid foundation, organically gain a following of high-quality superfans, launch and market your music online without paid traffic, and help you begin to live off your music by doing what you were born to do. Here's what you will do. You're going to be able to properly define your goals. They're achievable. You're going to have all the steps to create world-class recordings, which will make the best impressions around the world. You're going to discover and hone in your micro niche, which is crucial to make all of this work. You're going to know exactly what to do to make the biggest impact on just a few social media platforms, and you're going to master free traffic. You'll discover and define your culture and learn how to create a community around your music. You'll properly identify and craft proper music brand, something that's going to outlast and outlive you. You'll understand how the visual components of music and your image contribute to your brand and identity. And you'll know exactly how to properly launch your music online so you can make the biggest splash and be heard around the world, even while you're sleeping. Now, I want you to pay attention to what's in this course. I'm going to share with you every single module so that you know exactly what's in it and there's no surprises, because I'm not looking to work with everyone. I only want to work with people who truly need this information to go to the next level. So before I do that, let me share who this is for. This program is for someone with real raw talent. Like I said, you got to have good music. You got to have talent at least. I don't say you don't have to have a finished album just yet. But if you have raw talent and not just your mom thinks you're awesome, someone who's not afraid of hard work and effort, someone who's not looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, and I always joke that this is a make a comfortable living slow scheme, someone who's truly ready to commit to themselves and go to the next level, someone who has a positive attitude and outlook on life and sees the possibilities, and someone who's ready to grasp these concepts and run with them. I want to see you more successful than I have ever been. I want to see you more successful. Truly, I will applaud you. I will cheer you on. And who is this not for? Because we got to include that too. Someone who's lazy and doesn't want to work hard. Someone who just wants to check out the course and then get all their money back afterwards, which I consider theft. Someone who believes everything should be free, including in-depth training and education, which is an entitlement mentality. And those people will not be successful in life anyways. Negative Nellies and complainers, someone who thinks they know it all, and someone who's already successful in the music industry. I don't think that's anybody here. You wouldn't be here if you were this person, but we have to say it, right? So what's inside the online musician? Let me tell you exactly what's in there so you know if this is right for you. Well, module 1 is an entire module on the success mindset. It's all in your head. I think a lot of you know this. Some of you might be like, mindset. And some of you are like, yes, mindset. Mindset is everything. And I can tell you, as someone who has made a successful career and different businesses, been very successful, different things, it's all about mindset. Mindset is everything. So we're going to teach you how to create a success mindset, uncovering your hidden why and using that as your rocket fuel for your future. How to become an online musician and what's the mental game behind that. Habits of successful and unsuccessful people, specific steps you can take right now to get results. Module 2 is discovering your micro niche, which is the key to differentiation. So we're going to go deep dive into this, how your influences affect your micro niche. We're going to give you exercises, how to get clear on your brand and image. Advanced steps for going deeper on that, which sometimes the more deeper you go, the more lucrative it becomes. Now, module 3. Building a culture around your music. So we're going to talk about what true culture is, how to become a culture builder. This is a concept that musicians do not know about or think about. And it will change everything for you. You're going to figure out what your unique music culture is. We've got culture building challenges for you that will reveal incredible things you didn't know about your audience. And I will teach you how to build a Facebook group around that culture that gets insane engagement, will bond people to you and your music forever. And I'll teach you how to sell to those people inside your group. Module 4, building a brand that's bigger than the music. Understanding what true branding is, how to formulate your own. Figure out differentiation from everybody else in your genre and your marketplace. You will define your image, your artwork, and media to create continuity. You're going to grow something that's much bigger than the music, and you'll learn how great branding lasts a lifetime and exactly what to do. Module 5, building an amazing world-class website or making over your existing one. Most musicians' websites are horrendous. They're ugly, terrible, and are repelling your fans. It is not a proper representation of your music and the talent you have. So we're going to fix that. So in this module, we're going to help you know exactly which website platforms to stay away from, which ones are the good ones. And we give you options. So it's not like, oh, you only have to use this one. We give you simple wireframe formulas that convert casual visitors into diehard fans and customers. You'll know exactly what and how to create a world-class website that's not expensive or difficult. You don't need to know how to code. Don't have to be a WordPress expert. You don't need to be a techie person. And how to create ultimately a beautifully branded experience for your fans and help you carve out your place in the market. Module 6 is social media marketing plan that doesn't suck. So you're going to learn why you don't need to be on all platforms to succeed, which platforms give you the most impact, how to research and understand your super fans so your music ranks everywhere, why Facebook is where your fans are, and how to build up a following there, how to properly utilize YouTube, a whole mini course on Instagram. I'm very excited about this one. It is one of my absolute favorite e-commerce platforms, believe it or not. They are building in all kinds of amazing e-commerce features. And just today, before I came on here, I just read a big update from Mark Zuckerberg that they are officially introducing Facebook Shops on the Facebook platform and in Instagram. So it's just improving the things that they already have, the features there, and probably a whole lot more. So this is going to be a module you need. And in fact, that mini course will be sold separately eventually for a significant price. You're getting all that for free inside of this. Module 7 is building those multiple streams of income that you can pay your bills with. So we're going to go much deeper. What I covered with you today on those 5 streams, that was the appetizer. This is the 7-course meal. Okay, this is where we go in deep, and I'm going to teach you how to choose the merchandise that your fans want, how to poll them, how to price things like a profitable business, how much profit margin do you need, all that kind of thing, what to do about streaming prices, why they're not your enemy, or streaming sites and why they're not your enemy, how to create ideas to create more products and make more sales from existing products. Like there's so many cool things that your fans want and you don't even know, and things you can relaunch from the past, like you can sell old music to fans, so many different cool things you can do, reissues, autograph things, how to make sure you're getting all your royalties, making money from cover songs legally, how to use your existing talent and experience to bring in those additional revenues, how to start a fan club. We go deep into the fan club stuff as well. On top of that, we also are offering, I put this together, the Vault of Knowledge. And I have packed this so full of extra stuff when you join today. So for those of you who do not have an album yet and you don't know where to begin, or you're at the very, very, very beginning, I put a whole module together for you on how to create an album and project management, how to create that, okay? How to plan out your next recording, how to choose the right songs and singles, how to create a budget, how to find the right players, how to contact your dream producer, how to find the right studio, how do you negotiate the rates, how do you do all of that stuff, how do you plan your entire project the easy way so you can focus on your music. And then another module in the Vault of Knowledge is launching your music now. So you've made the album, how do you launch it online the smart way? So you do it in 4 strategic phases, and most musicians don't even know about 3 of them. So you're going to build a buzz. You're going to how to get on the media's radar before you've even released your music. We talk about press releases, how to write a bio, what do you need to do on launch day? What are the sequence of events you need to do, checklists and all that. And then I've also provided, there's another module of additional tips and resources, stuff on the quick cash generation guide, the Busy Musician Bootcamp that's on time management, songwriting cheat sheet, bonus Q&A videos, crowdfunding tips. I have so much stuff in there for you. I'm not trying to overwhelm you. These are things to help you along the way, because this is not a quick fix, you guys. This is like a long journey. Like expect that this could take you 6 months to a year to get through, depending on where you're at, okay? Bonus private members only group. So we've got a Facebook group that is members only, where you're going to have a buddy system. We're going to help provide you with accountability, support, focused encouragement, live videos, and bonus Q&As and more. So here's one of our students that posted in our group. in the earlier iteration, and he said, I happened to see this. He didn't even email it to us. I found it in the group. He said, "Don't be fooled. It's my civil duty to inform you that as a union stagehand in my city, I run different departments for a lot of corporate events. When I'm running things in the actual room instead of a control room, I hear a lot of secret strategies and concepts these companies are desperately trying to get their people motivated and educated to do. Every new concept or tried and true rule I've heard them discuss, sometimes beg their people to do, I've heard before, all because I'm a student of SMA. Even the U.S. Postal Forum was discussing fail-proof strategies I've seen Leah doing for almost 2 years. So do not take what you're learning here lightly. Every business corporation I've worked for spends millions of dollars to get their people this kind of information. So here's the thing. If you're not excited yet, I don't know what will get you excited, but I'm hoping that this will. We have today, if you are watching this right now, you qualify for our fast action bonuses. Okay. When you join today, we're going to provide you an additional $1,200 value for free when you join today. That's going to include these 3 mini courses. Okay. You're going to also, in addition to the Online Musician 3.0, you will also get these. You're going to get Spotify for Musicians, which teaches you how to grow your streaming audience, getting on playlists, and gives you something you can actually do with Spotify, and it 100% works. We're also giving you our music video formula mini course, which is where we teamed up with one of the most hired music video directors and filmmakers in the music business, and he's going to show you how to craft your own amazing music video, even if you have nothing but an iPhone to work with. I mean, it's good. And we even made a music video together on an iPhone so you can see it. It's incredible. And then in addition to that, we're also going to give you our How to Sell Your Music little 3-week mastermind that's pre-recorded that helps you get your feet wet in Facebook ads, because I want to eventually train you how to do all the cool ninja stuff that I do, but this is going to help get your feet wet. And you're like, I need to sell music immediately. Like, I need to pay, I have some bills coming up. I got to do it. You can jump right in there, and that will help you right now. So again, these mini courses, these things we're adding, they're not meant to overwhelm you. We're not trying to just shove a bunch of content on you. These are supplemental. Okay. So your main diet is Tom 3.0. These are the supplements. These are the vitamins that you're going to take on the side. They're going to help you in your journey. I really am trying to empower you with everything I could possibly give you to help you succeed. So here's what you get all together. You're going to get lifetime access to Tom 3.0, 9+ modules of training to become an online musician expert. You will become an expert when you go through this. And if you're not an expert by the end of this, I have deeply failed you and I need to redo it. And but you will be an expert by the end of it. It's going to come with printable worksheets, action steps with each lesson. I like to be very organized. Resource list, checklist, guides, our private members only accountability group, our bonus vault of knowledge, and then these fast action bonuses. And the total value, it's actually well over this, but it's at $57.83 currently. And that's what it currently is. But we're not charging that today because we wouldn't be able to help as many people, even though it is worth that. Because you are dead serious about becoming an online musician and making your dreams a reality, we're offering a special promotional price for a limited time. It's the Online Musician 3.0, the 3 courses, mini courses for free today. And we've got 3 different payment plans available for you. We have a 1 pay of $9.97, 4 monthly payments of $2.97, or a 13-month of $97. And if for some reason the link doesn't work for you, you can also go to theonlinemusician.com and you'll find your way there as well. So if you think about it, if you just sell 50 albums for $20 using the information you learn in this program, you just paid for your course. It's free. So if you're not willing or ready to figure out how to sell 50 albums, then we have other problems. I don't think I can help you if you're not willing to sell 50 albums for $20. So there's the long, hard, expensive, frustrating way, which, you could research for hundreds of hours. Sure, you could spend a lot of time feeling frustrated and banging your head against the wall. That was me. You could try figuring out everything alone by yourself, piecing together conflicting bits of information that's not tested. You could waste your time and money on tactics that don't work. You could keep doing things the old way that don't work in the music industry anymore. And worst of all, you could risk never making it and failing at the one thing you always wanted to do. But that would be very silly when you could take a giant shortcut and you and I do this together. I've already done the work. I've already done the research. I've sifted through the information. I've put together a system that works. So whether you're a beginner, starting out, or you've been a musician for a long time, how much is your time worth? And will you be getting more from not having to figure it out yourself? But instead, have a plan of action that thousands of other students have already done and is working for them that you can start applying today. Because if I did it, why can't you? And I'm also willing to take a risk of providing a 30-day money-back guarantee. Okay, that's a risk for me. It's not for you, but it is for me because some people, it is the internet. Some people come and they want to steal, right? They come and they consume your content and go, I don't want it. But I'm willing to take that risk. It's a very small percentage of people, very small, but I'm willing to do that for you because I want to help you so much. And I know you need that extra layer of confidence. I know you need that. And so I'm going to give it to you. Okay. I've given you all the steps. I've given you the tools and the resources and the plans and a community to crush your goals. Thousands of students have already done this before you. And so, hey, if you think it doesn't work for you, I just want to give you every chance to actually give this a shot and build this dream for yourself, however you choose to design it, but you got to do the work. So here's what happens next. If you click on that link at the top of the chat and all that, you will see that there is an order form like this. And if you're on a mobile device, obviously it'll look a little bit different. But if you scroll down, you'll see there's 3 payment options, and you're just going to make sure you select the right one. And if you're looking for PayPal, you just scroll down a little further and you'll see the blue PayPal button. And what happens is you go through the checkout, you'll see the thank you page. And then after the thank you page, you're going to get a few emails from us. You'll get a receipt, you'll get a confirmation, and you're going to get login information. And our courses live on a platform called Kajabi. So it's going to send you a link to go create an account. So you just put in an email and password type of thing. You're going to log in, and then your homework today is to join the Facebook group, which you'll find inside the course. Make sure you join. And the other thing is you're going to go through the very first welcome video. And in there, there's also a progress report. And I recommend that you print out all your worksheets. Print them out, keep them in a binder beside your desk, wherever you're working on this. And that way you can physically work on things. And anyway, this progress report, it's kind of like going to the doctor for a physical. You're just going to get a lay of the land, right? You're just getting a basic overlay of where are you at right now. So how many albums do you have? How many followers do you have? Do you have an email list yet? Yes or no? Just all the different things, because in a few months from now, you're going to implement things and holy cow, you're going to look back and go, wow, look at my transformation. This is amazing. Kind of like a before and after photo when you're on a fitness diet or something like that. And they want photos, right? So you can see the before and after. So that's what your homework is today. So I'm really excited to have you join our family. This is extremely exciting. And we're going to open up for Q&A in just a second here. And by the way, if you need to talk with somebody, we have a chat available right there on the order form page. There's a chat bubble there, so you can reach out. You can also send an email to success@savvymusicianacademy.com. Or if you need to speak with someone, you can actually book a call and speak with someone on our team. You can go to calltom3.com and book a call, and we'd be happy to speak with you as well. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to open up for Q&A. It's going to be fun. I love this part of our classes where we get to answer your questions. So just a sec. And we have more questions. Beth said, do you do live performance online at all? I actually don't do much of that at all, just in my career, only because I'm so busy with so many things. But if that's all I was doing, I absolutely would and would like to. But it's such a good idea to do it. And I recommend going live as often as possible as you can. Guys, I'm seeing a lot of questions about my specific career, like, oh, can you let us know the breakdown of revenue source for music and all this sort of thing? You're asking the wrong question. because my career is not your career. And so it doesn't help you. Your revenue breakdown is going to be different than mine. And it all depends on how you go about it. It doesn't help you if I give you those stats. Like, all you're going to do is either compare that to what you're doing, or you're going to think that either you failed or you're going to be skeptical of me. So it doesn't actually help you. You need to be asking more questions about yourself, about how this can work for you. Let's see. We have, how do you find the super fans? My dear Angie, that's what the course is for. That's the entire content of the course, is finding those super fans. We're using a lot of organic exposure and reach on social media platforms. That's the primary way we're doing it. We're attracting them also. Like, if you join, you're going to find out how to find more super fans through Spotify, through your music videos, through email, through a variety of different ways. Dominic asked, are hashtags the best way to gain superfans exposure? That's not the best way. It's just one of the small things that you do. You know, it's one of those things that helps for searchability and for discovery. And you should use hashtags. I mean, on Instagram is where it makes sense to use it. Facebook, not so much. And Gareth said, in your podcast, you keep saying email list. What is this? How do you go about it? Oh, so Gareth, yeah, in my podcast, email list is, I'm not talking about Gmail or Hotmail or anything. I'm using an actual professional email service provider. Okay, so if you want to send a mass email to, say, 10,000 fans that you have on your list, you cannot use Gmail. You cannot use Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL. You can't use those. It's illegal, and there's serious limitations. You can't do that. You have to use an actual CRM, customer relationship management system, or whatever. It's an email service provider. CRM is what they call them. And so a lot of people like MailChimp. I use Drip. There's other ones out there. And how go about it? That is, you know, we have podcast episodes on that. That's not what this course is all about. This is the beginning stages of that. But I will tell you, it's something that you want to take very seriously. By the end of the course, I want you building your email list. Because with an email list, it's still the #1 driver of e-commerce sales. So I want you building it, but first things first, don't put the cart before the horse. Preston, would you recommend this course as someone who literally has no music written yet at all? Yes, I would, Preston. And I have some special supplemental guides to help you, such as the 0 to Hero guide, which I'm making available to you right away inside the course. It's like you literally at ground zero. You have nothing yet and you're ready to get going. So that will help you. Absolutely. Is this a yearly subscription or unlimited access? It's lifetime access. It's a one-time payment, or depending on the payment plan you choose, it could be $97 for 13 months if that's what you choose. If you want a low monthly, and it is unlimited access for life. And we do updates to it as well. So, for example, our Tom 2.0 students automatically got upgraded to 3.0. We did that for them because they've already invested in the time and energy to go through this course in the 2.0 version. So we just gave them the 3.0 for free. So that's the kind of thing that we do here at Savvy. How does creating stock music fit into the course? That would be one of your 5 streams of income, right? And for you, it might be a 6th one. You might choose to swap that out with something else. So stock music is absolutely, one of our students that we shared during this presentation, she was talking about creating royalty-free music. And that was an avenue she hadn't explored, and she's having great success with it. So yeah, that's just one of the things you will do, and among other things. Usenia, is it good to relaunch old music? Absolutely. This is, I don't know why people ask me this, because if you think about it, your old music is new to new people. So unless your old music doesn't sound anything alike, if it's completely different genre than what you do now, then that's a different thing. But absolutely relaunch your old music. People get very excited. They buy your entire discography. When is the correct time? Anytime. Now is a good time. Kara is saying, is having a website still relevant these days? You have sites like Bandcamp. Yes, absolutely. We have a whole module dedicated to it because that's how important it is. You are on rented land anytime you're using Bandcamp or Facebook or using any of these as your website. Anything can happen. You get shut down. You have to adhere to their rules. There's a lot of problems. My biggest issue with Bandcamp is that they don't let you basically cookie your traffic. They are in the dinosaur age of marketing. They don't understand it, and they have no interest in understanding it, unfortunately. And I've used them a lot. You can't track your traffic, and it sucks. So for that reason, no, yes, you absolutely need your website. If you don't have any fans or email list, but you have 2 CDs, how long would you say you could build a large fan base and make a good income, say $20,000? If you have 2 CDs, let me read again. No fans or email list, but you have 2 albums. How long would it take to build a fan base? Beth, that completely depends on you. I mean, if you rock through this course and implement anything, I mean, I've seen people do this in a very short amount of time. I've seen people do this in 6 to 8 weeks. I've seen that happen. But it takes a certain kind of person who has a lot of determination. And if you don't have determination, if you get easily discouraged, that's probably not going to happen. But those who will persevere, like it has to be almost like a life and death thing for you. We've had on our podcast a guy named Daniel Coates. He's one of my students, another one of my favorite students. He took the online musician and ran with it. And he created a 6-figure income for him and his family. And they tour the world and they homeschool their kids as well. And he's created other streams of income for himself. And he's really took ownership of his own career. It's amazing. But you got to have that kind of determination. And, before that, he was driving Uber and cleaning houses and stuff. And for him, he was like, I can't do this. It's detrimental to my soul. I'm going to die if I have to do this and not do my music. So, he's the perfect example of taking the reins and not saying, Leah, well, if I do this, can you guarantee that I'm going to make this much money? No, I'm not going to guarantee anything for anybody. It's what are you going to do with it? I've done my part. I've given you a plan and a system and education, everything I ever needed. You have more inside this course than I ever had when I created Savvy Musician Academy, which turned into a 7-figure company. Okay, you have more information there than I ever had. If you don't do something with it, that's on you. So I cannot guarantee any kind of income that you're going to make. That's totally up to you. And it's up to you how fast you want to do it. Joshua, what income source has been one of the most successful for your students? I have to say that's physical merchandise, like we talked about the first one. Physical merchandise has done unbelievably well for them. Let's see. Oh, Beth said, if you have 2 albums already, besides the cost of your course, what other major costs to be successful? So what else do you need? In this course, there's nothing major that you need. There's no major tools. It would just be your website. It's probably just website costs. Besides that, there's not much because we're not getting into ads and all of that yet. That's for our advanced students. People who have graduated from the Online Musician are eligible to learn our advanced marketing programs. And at that point, you need a little bit of an ad budget and such. But I designed this program to utilize free traffic. So everything is mostly free. There's going to be a few things here and there that, that's just part of having a music business. It's like you're building a business here. So yeah, free tools are definitely they're there, but then there's other things you don't want them to be free tools because they're not good. Do you recommend using a pseudonym, say your real name? It totally depends on what your name is, Raymond, what your band name is. I mean, it's up to you. I use my maiden name because it's cooler than my married name. So it's up, that's a great question for a group. Can you create a fan base and an income off of cover music? You absolutely can. There's Pentatonics, there's the Piano Guys. There's so many bands out there who have made so much money and created this super loyal fan base off of creating their own version of cover songs. Absolutely. So it's all about how do you make them different? How do you differentiate? And are you creating a culture around that? And for everybody who has been here so far, I want to give you this gift. And the gift is a link that you will see in the chat. We will put it somewhere in the chat there. And it's all about your micro niche. It's actually a free training. It's a video and a download on your micro niche, because I just want to give it to you as a reward for you guys staying this long, and also give you a little sample of my teaching style that you can expect. All of our videos, all of our training inside our program is slideshows kind of like this one that you've seen. And the reason we do that is because as we need to update them, it's really easy to update slides instead of me refilming an entire video on camera and lights and makeup and hair and all that kind of stuff. Less distracting, and it's so much easier to update the slides as we need to. So that's what you can expect. And it's also, we're focused on the content, not on me. So that's what you can expect, but you'll get a sense of my style and teaching from this lesson, and I hope that's valuable to you. Yeah, when I say physical merchandise, I mean music and physical products. So it could be CDs, vinyl, cassette tapes, hoodies, anything you want, t-shirts, hats, all of it, all physical merchandise. So music and merch is what I say. Lots of people they're incredibly successful with that stuff. It's really fun creating it for your fans too, especially when they give you all these different suggestions. You get to be creative, find artwork and all of that stuff. It's amazing and so much fun. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for being here. I appreciate it. You know, it's not easy carving out time, and hopefully it's easier these days, but I appreciate you spending the time here, and I really hope to see you inside the Savvy family. What I can tell you guys is that tens of thousands of people around the world have already been doing this. I've been doing this. This is my bread and butter, is knowing how to be an online musician, teaching how to be an online musician. I am doing it myself. I think that's something that makes me different. There's a lot of people who teach about it but aren't doing it. I'm one of the people that's actually doing it. I have done it and continue to do so. And so anyways, I just thank you all for being here, and make sure to get your free gift. Thank you all, and I will see you very soon.